Hello everyone. So in this video what we are going to see is about the trees in this park. ஸோ நான் இப்போ ஒரு பார்க்குக்கு வந்திருக்கேன். இந்த பார்க்கில் பழைய ட்ரீஸஸ்லாம் இருக்குதான். ஸோ அதை பற்றி உள்ளே கொஞ்சம் பேர் இருக்காங்க. ஸோ அவங்க யாரோ லீட் பண்ணி இந்த பார்க்கில் இருக்க ட்ரீஸ்லாம் சொல்லுவாங்களாம். ஸோ என்னடா ஸ்டார்டிங்கில் இங்கிலீஷில் பேசலாம்னு நினைக்காதீங்க. ஸோ இந்த வீடியோ ஃபுல்லாகவே இங்கிலீஷில் தான் இருக்க போகுது. ஸோ டிஸ்க்ளைமர் ஃபஸ்ட்டே போட்டுறேன். ஓகே, தோஸ் ஹூ லவ்ஸ் ட்ரீஸ் அண்ட் ஹூ நோஸ் இங்கிலீஷ் கேன் வாட்ச் திஸ் வீடியோ. ஓகே, அதுதான் உள்ளே போயிட்டு இது என்ன பெரிய பார்க்கு போல். இந்த பார்க்கில் பழைய காலத்து 100 வருஷம் முன்னாடி உள்ள ட்ரீஸ்லாம் இருக்குதான். என்ன ஆக போகுதுன்னு தெரில. ஸோ 1 hour 2 hour இருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். ஸோ முடிஞ்ச அளவுக்கு கட் பண்ணிட்டு வீடியோ போட்டு முடிச்சிடுறேன். ஓகே, வாங்க வீடியோக்குள்ளே போவோம்.
And shortly after the Second World War, King George VI and Queen Elizabeth, who then became the Queen Mother, toured the country, and as part of that tour they paid a visit to Leicester. And the chief reason for their tour and their visit to Leicester was to pay tribute to the people of the country and the city for their efforts during the conflict. And there's a plaque around here that reads, "This oak tree was planted to commemorate the visit of King George VI and Queen Elizabeth on the 30th of October 1946, and it was planted by the Lord Mayor of Leicester, Alderman C.E. Worthington." So that makes this particular tree a little over 80 years old, because it would have been maybe 2 or 3, maybe even possibly 5 years old when it was planted. So we've got a date for that. So it's the birch, and if you come round this side you can see the sun shining on it, and it really is quite strikingly bright. It's an ornamental tree that's become increasingly popular in the UK for both gardens and public parks and landscapes. Although it's native to the Western Himalayas, it grows in altitudes over 4,000 metres. It adapts quite well to this British sort of damp, cool, temperate climate, so it's quite more than happy here. And one of its most famous features is this luminous white bark. Unlike the UK's native silver birch, the bark of this Himalayan silver birch is exceptionally bright, and the sun's playing a blinder today and showing us exactly what is one of its best features. And it's got this almost paper white peeling bark that comes off in thin curls, and it reflects the winter sunlight really well, and it makes the tree a really standout feature even when it's leafless. You know, you've got this quite bright lovely tree. So in UK parks and gardens it makes it especially valuable for sort of year-round interest. You know, there's no leaves on it, there's not much happening in the winter, but this is sort of standing out there like a beacon of loveliness. The tree is relatively fast growing, and it often reaches 12 to 18 metres over time, and yet it still has a very light and airy canopy that allows plenty of sunlight through to the ground below, and that makes it ideal for underplanting with things like shade-tolerant plants such as ferns and hellebores and spring bulbs. Here, Double Avenue, and you know, Leicester is full of lime trees, and this park is known for its lime trees, and unless we look closely we might think that there are nothing but lime trees here, but that's obviously not the case. So this is a hybrid lime, and the hybrid lime is commonly planted on the streets of Leicester. Can you all hear me? Yeah. I'm sort of in the middle of you, aren't I? Maybe if I stand over here, that would be better. Right. So the common lime is commonly planted on the streets of Leicester, and that is a hybrid of two of our native trees. Look at all of them going down the road. You will see where the branches split at the top of the trunk, quite a narrow V shape. Okay, so that's the first thing that I'm looking for to identify a lime tree, just by the silhouette, just by the shape. So that doesn't happen very much with other trees. You can see that one behind there, that's very, very clear there. So that's a feature. Hybrid lime trees also often produce suckers from the base, and if you want to, you probably want to stay around there, but basically if you look at the base of any of the trees, and if when you've finished you come around here, you'll see that there's lots of, around the back of this tree, there were lots of suckers and they've all been cut off. And that's very common. So sometimes you'll see like bushes growing at the base of a tree. Have you all seen that? Where these branches are coming out? Those are probably lime trees and those are suckers. So that's a natural feature of the tree. The city council trim them off if they are somewhere like this, just to make it a bit tidier and not cause so many obstructions. Road, this is the last one, going back up there, of Dawn Redwood. And if you looked at the trees as we were approaching, I don't know if you did, you might have noticed that they have like a pyramid shape. If you didn't do that and you can't see it from here, turn around just as we walk back and we'll have another look at it. So the Dawn Redwood has been only known in its fossil form. It was thought to be extinct until it was discovered really in Sichuan province in China in 1941 by a Chinese professor. And that was obviously during the Second World War. Distinctive form of a native English oak. And it's valued in the UK, this upright column-like shape. And unlike the broad spreading crown typical of the common oaks, it grows very steeply and the branches are held very close to the trunk. Native to the mountainous woodland in Central and Southern Europe, so it's not British native. It was introduced in the UK before 1500. It's now naturalised and it spreads easily from seed. And anybody who like me has got sycamores growing in the wild at the end of their garden will know that they keep putting out seeds all the time. You have to be very vigilant with them because before you know it you've got a tree. It's very widely grown in the city streets and parks. It grows 35 metres and will live for 400 years. When it's mature it has a large heavy dome. That's a mature sycamore there behind us, so you can perhaps get a little bit of sense of the shape. Any of you who've seen pictures of the sycamore gap tree will be aware of the shape of the sycamore. Yeah? So that's they stand fast and they die fast. The wood is soft and brittle, and the mature trees can be prone to storm damage because of this. So sometimes a Lombardy poplar will come down, and obviously if it's 20 to 30 metres high, it's going to, devastate whatever's in the path of it coming down. The leaves turn a vivid golden yellow in the autumn, and they create very striking vertical accents in the landscape. I think if you drive across to Burke, and the land is really, really flat, you will see lots of Lombardy poplar windbreaks between the farms and along the ditches and the edges. So again, this dramatic upright posture, the branches grow steeply upwards rather either the native wild cherry or the Japanese flowering cherry. And actually I can't tell them apart. I mean, I suspect strongly this is a flowering cherry, but I'm not sure that I've seen it when it's in flower. So you need to see the flowers or the fruit to know what type it is, but it's a cherry tree. So we can distinguish these most clearly when they are in flower or fruit. The flowering cherries have double flowers, which are either pink, cream or white, so a wider range of colours. The wild cherries have ivory white single flowers. The flowering cherries have those big double flowers that you've all seen, which we know that the Japanese love. The Japanese spread the trees into various shapes. One of the reasons why I suspect this is a Japanese flowering cherry is the way that the branches are kind of coming down, and they breed various shapes into the tree. It's now naturalised in the UK. They are being weakened by a number of insects and diseases at the moment, including leaf miner and bleeding canker. If you've seen horse chestnut leaves in the autumn, you'll know that they have they go dark brown very early. That's the leaf miner, and the bleeding canker makes these black stains. This is quite wet. So excuse me. So that's the bleeding canker. Winter is an important recovery time from the leaf miner attacks, and these trees will look at their very best in the spring because they do recover. Yes, they do recover. Okay, so these are weakening the trees. In some cases that might lead to the end of the tree, but most trees are carrying on for years and years and years. London plane is a hybrid of American sycamore and another tree called the Oriental plane. So two trees, similar species, that have bred and produced this London plane. And in fact, the London plane emerged in London in the 17th century in the London nursery garden. Okay, so that's the fruit. So those honey balls are fairly distinct as the plane. The Oriental plane does the same, and then there's one other tree that I can think of that has them. But this combined with the bark will tell you that what you're dealing with is a London plane.
2 hours later.
ரொம்ப நேரம் அறுத்து தள்ளிட்டாங்க. அப்பா ஒரு 2 மணி நேரம் உட்கார வச்சு நடந்து கூட்டு போய் இந்த மூக்கிலேருந்து அந்த மூக்கு வரைக்கும் கூட்டு போயிட்டாங்க. ஸோ இதான் வந்து இந்த பார்க்கோட என்ட்ரன்ஸ். அவ்வளோதான், வெளியே வந்தாச்சு. ஸோ வந்து இங்கே இருக்கிற கேட்டு, இந்த கேட்டை வந்து இந்த கேட்டு அப்புறம் உள்ளே இருக்கிற இந்த பார்க்கு இந்த 4 வருஷமாக கட்டியிருக்காங்க. ஐ மீன் 1914 1918 வரைக்கும் இந்த பார்க்கை வந்து மெயின்டைன் பண்ணி யாரோ மெமோரியலுக்காக இந்த பார்க்கை உருவாக்கியிருக்காங்க. ஏதோ ஃபாரின்காரி போகிறான், இதோ அதை செருப்பால் அடிப்பாங்க. அவ்வளோதான் மக்களே. ஸோ வந்து 2 மணி நேரம் ஆற்றி தள்ளிட்டாங்க, முடியல, கால் வலிக்குது. ஸோ வந்து முடிஞ்ச அளவுக்கு எவ்வளோ கட் பண்ண வேணுமோ கட் பண்ணிட்டு இந்த வீடியோ போடுறேன். ஓகே, ஸோ உங்களுக்கு இந்த வீடியோ பிடிச்சிருந்தா மறக்காமல் லைக் பண்ணுங்கள், கமெண்ட் பண்ணுங்கள், ஒரு 10 பேருக்கு ஷேர் பண்ணுங்கள். ஓகே, அடுத்த வீடியோவில் பார்ப்போம். பாய்.